Hey, and welcome to I Got Problems.
Welcome.
My name is Doyne, and I'm here with
Sandra.
And we are starting with another episode about...
Oh. I'm over here doing
about why marriage under 30 has to feel rushed and complicated.
Yes. And I got a lot of things to say about this, y'all. Because I'm under 30. And I have been rushed and they've overcomplicated things that don't need to be complicated. Okay? So, being married under 30 plus. Okay? So, here's the thing. Now, maybe I'm also Nigerian. So, there's that.
That's definitely a big factor there.
It's huge. And being Nigerian and being African in general, there's this minority complex of just them wanting us to just get married at a younger age. And it can create problems because not only do they try to set you up without your permission, they set you up with the worst. Like, in fact, it's almost like they don't know who you are. Like,
they don't. They tell you can't date, and then when you reach a certain age, like 22,
where's your husband?
It just automatically where's your husband. So they don't even know anything about you. You've never brought anybody home. They don't know your type.
They don't even know if you're gay. They don't know.
They don't know anything.
They don't know. So, they're just like, no marriage. Go through college. Nothing. No dating. No boys. No girls. When you're done, you're done. Degree collected. Okay, where's your wife? Oh, yeah. Does she come with a degree?
Because so why are we really surprised that they're hooking you up with like somebody that's your opposite?
And I think the worst part is they'll give my number to somebody, like a family member in Nigeria will be like, oh, I know somebody without my permission. Give my number to some random Lagosian. Yeah. And the Lagos person will not call me with the +1234 number talking about, so I heard that I was like, who? Where? My mom was like, don't respond to them anymore, please. Yeah. Who are these strange people giving your numbers away in Lagos?
Oh, so your mom doesn't even know that
she doesn't approve. No, because it's family members. She's like, look, because my uncles, my dad's side of the family are just ridiculous. I mean, they're on a whole nother level. So my mom was always like, if they say something, if they do something, if they call you, don't answer. If they text you, don't answer. If they add you on Facebook, don't respond. I'm like,
it's not that serious, y'all. Like, it's just really not that serious.
It's really not. And I'm honestly tired of it. And I feel like it's a society that we live in that makes us feel like there's this rush for especially women to get married before 30, and for men, pretty much around 35 is when they start to be like, oh, come on, when are you gonna bring your wife to the cookout? Where's the girl to the cookout?
I mean, I feel like they don't even really have that big of a come on. It's just
they don't. They just kind of laugh about it and bring it up every now and then. And for women, it's almost like the worst part of this for me is every time I go to a wedding for another friend, before I leave that wedding, at least 10 people will stop and say, when is your own coming?
When is your own? When are we getting invited to you? When are we eating your own jollof rice and chicken?
When is your own? You are next. And I'm just
next by the grace of God. The prayers will start.
It's honestly, and I'm just like, when I try to make it seem like, oh no, I'm good, they'll be like, why now? Why? Why are you saying, you don't want to marry?
Don't even say you're good, because then it's going to turn into a lecture about why you're made to be married. You don't have to act
like you want to get married. Be like, okay, thank you, in the name of Jesus, amen. Yeah. Oh God.
Just say your amens and go, bro.
Like, I used to talk back and be like, why? And I was like, you know what? I'm talking to the wrong people.
You really are. It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. So honestly, this episode, it brings up just a lot of memories and just like the rush being married before 30 and how being a minority adds to the statistics. And also back in 1970s, over a quarter, about 28% of all women were married by the age of 20, including our parents. And over 3/4, 77% were married by the age of 25, y'all. 77% of the population in 1970s were married by 25. My mom was married by 25, which makes sense. She had me around 25, which is why I'm half her age. So it's kind of insane. And about 9% were married. I mean, more than 9 to 10 people were married by that age also, which is about 91% of the population were married by 30, y'all. In 1970s, you know damn well that's not happening right now. So the average age of marriage for the first time marriage was about 22.8 years for women and 25.1 for men, which you can see men still get married at older age regardless. And that the first baby usually arrived within the first couple of years, maybe 2 to 3. Marriage rates they've more than halved since high water mark in 1960s and 1970s, with a corresponding increase in average age at which people get married. So does being a minority or first generation African have to do with, the age or the pressure? You think that adds to it? Or is it just like a plus? Like, it's just like, well, it's normal in the community. I feel like it adds to it. I feel like being Black, being a woman, all these things kind of sprinkle into the stressor, and then you now be a minority. in a population in a country where marriage at 25 is normalized than in the European world.
Yeah.
So, and child brides are still happening, mind you, in certain African countries. And actually all over the world, many, not even just African countries, you get to a certain age, they're ready to sell you off. They're ready to be like, all right, when are you going to get married? You start your period, you're a woman now. You know, like, it's pretty ridiculous. And in some countries, they actually do female mutilation to stop you from doing any sexual activities prior to marriage. So that, oh my God.
But that doesn't make any sense because it doesn't.
Oh my God.
It's not like you suddenly grow sensation down there at a certain age.
I read some articles where they literally they cut off the clitoris, then they sew together the vagina. They put a hole in there so you can bleed for your period and pee. And then they leave that hole open, but they sew everything else. So nothing else can go in, not even a penis. When you get married, the day you get married, they undo the stitches, and your husband is the first to penetrate you on the wedding night. That's after disgusting. Years of a closed wound, and you tell me that the next thing you endure is excruciating pain by some man you were married to at a young age who forces himself into a place that's been stitched together. I was like...
I mean, there's so many things wrong with that because the message you're sending out to people is that it's okay for men to feel pleasure and not women.
Yeah, and like your pleasure doesn't matter as a woman.
You're saying that sexual activity is a woman's responsibility.
Yep.
And it's not. It's everyone's responsibility as
an individual. How many times do you have to say this? This is not even some feminist talk here. It's just common sense.
It's just common sense. Energy,
it's
everyone's responsibility.
Stop talking shit if you're not going to follow up with the same energy. Keep the same energy when you have problems with something. If you think men shouldn't do something, I'm going to need you to keep the same energy for women too. You don't get bragging rights or ability to do whatever you want because you have a penis. I'm sorry, that's not the case. And if you think people are not going to come for you, I'm sorry, this is 2020. Don't expect that to be the case. You're going to be attacked because we're not living in a generation where you can just do whatever you want to do anymore and just like roll with it. And people just roll with it because they don't have a right to say anything. We read now. We know what the law says. We are smart individuals. We are doing big things. We are educated. We're not dumb enough to just go with the flow of societal norms. Yeah. So please, just keep the same energy. But anyway, so yeah, that's really what I'm mad about. And from personal experience, I'm honestly tired. If you're a family member that's listening to this, please just stop. Stop asking me when I will get married. I will marry when I'm married, okay? Ain't no rush. My egg's not dead yet. You know, like...
I mean, honestly, it doesn't even matter. It's your womb, it's your body, and you can choose what you want to do with it.
After marriage, leave me alone.
There's a lot of technology now, just as long as you're equipped with the right resources.
And a lot of women freeze their eggs too after a certain age.
That's what I'm saying.
There's and not because of marriage. It's because,
there's a lot of technology because
eggs start to die.
Yeah, and like you don't want to rush into something just because everybody's telling you to do it. So remember that there's resources out here. Shady Grove Fertility Center in Maryland.
Right.
Resource.
Hey. But yeah, so let's go into the stats and facts. So how many do we have? I guess you can just read the first two. I'll read the other ones.
So the divorce rate for a woman who gets married before the age of 29 is about 80%.
Woof.
And for men, it's 72%.
Bruh.
Yeah.
So that's like basically all marriages.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of marriages. And that's why in the other episode I was saying, like, I just feel like it doesn't matter your age. Like, marriages... What stats have shown us is that marriages are just not
That's insane,
great.
though. 80% of marriages under 30 end up in divorce. Why y'all bother?
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't say why do you bother. It's up to each person to make that choice. But I think that we should stop saying it's because, you married this kind of person or that kind of person. What we should be learning is that everything that we've been thought about a monogamous relationship or getting married before you're 30, about all that stuff is not what's going to keep you together with whomever you're with. And the average age for couples going through their first divorce is 30, according to theBirthShow.com.
Oh my goodness, 30.
Yep.
Jesus.
Another way to look at divorce statistics is that in the United States, currently, 22% of women and 21% of men have been divorced in their lives at some point, at least once. And 11% of women and 9% of men are currently divorced and not remarried.
Which also shows, men get over it more than women do. They get divorced right back on the horse. But a woman, there's also like this whole widower type thing that's placed on women who are... it's like when a woman leaves a marriage, they expect you to basically be a widow and the man is still alive.
Because there's this thing like unspoken in our society where... like with a woman, we are objectified to the point where people describe us as like, I've heard this before, where it's just like when people say like why they want to marry a virgin, they describe it as like, oh, well, if you had two choices with like you found candy that was unwrapped versus candy that was still in the wrap, which one would you take? And so the message that you're almost sending out and that's persistent throughout society is almost like women have an expiration, or there's a limit to the number of uses. Like you use once only and dispose after, almost.
You can also argue with the fact that the same men who talk shit about marrying a virgin because they don't want to use
they're everywhere. They're sloppy.
Take a test drive before they buy the car. They're the same ones that be like, oh, how are you supposed to take a car off the parking lot if you don't know how it drives? Oh, yeah. You need to get a test drive in before. Oh, okay, but you're mad about the wrapper being reused already?
Yeah, so
you can't have both.
When I used to be super active on Twitter, there was this one user that I would follow, and he would talk about all sorts of sexual things, all the kind of women that he slept with. And then one time he tweeted like, oh, I'm sorry if you're not a virgin, like I can't take you home. And I was just like,
wait, what? So he's like, I'm allowed to stick my penis into anything and
he's just
everything,
like, I'm sorry, my
but
parents
if I want to marry, she's got to be completely clean,
like untouched. And it's just like,
that's a lot of things in the society, though. That's a lot of people in the society. A lot of men will sleep around with every single woman because society allows it, because it's normal for a man to be over.
But I think I equally think that that's filthy. But.
And then they want to bring home a virgin who goes to church and prays every Sunday to their mom.
That doesn't make any sense. And so there's this school of thought where it's almost like women have an expiration date or something. And so
before 30.
I can understand why women after getting divorced might not want to just rush into another marriage, because they're probably scared of what society thinks.
And there's also that cougar mentality from our previous episode of just like, oh, you feeling like, oh, society's going to be like, why are you dating a younger person? Or older men want younger women. So it's harder for a older woman to date an older man. Because an older man is probably looking for somebody in their 30s. And if you're married and divorced in your 40s, it's more difficult. Unless you find another divorcee. It's very difficult to find another man who wants somebody your age, because they're looking for somebody much younger than you.
Much younger.
And it's not fair at all. It's like double standard that really needs to stop. Like, it's really ridiculous at this point. And let an older woman start dating a man younger than her, then she's a cougar. Then it's like, why are you dating a guy 25? Because guys who are 45 don't want to date me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is
it's a tough place to be in the world as a woman. And I also feel like, what's the thought I'm going through? I feel like women go through so much that another reason why women might not get remarried as frequently is just like,
is that mic falling apart?
Yeah. It might be just that like you've been through so much already, and why would you go and sign yourself up for the same thing again? We just talked about all the side effects of being a woman in society and all the unfair expectations and double standards. So it's like, if I've experienced that once before, it didn't work out, why would I jump into another one? Like, it's like, this time I'm really listening to myself.
I'm probably going to touch on it, but like, there's a stat that says people who are divorced are less likely to remarry. Because they're just like, I've done it, been there. At this point, I just want to live in boyfriend and just to live my life. Like, I've done the deed. What am I rushing into? And there are people, and you ever notice that you see a lot more men remarry multiple times? First wife, second wife, third wife.
They feel like they need to have somebody live in their home.
Because they need a caregiver.
Clean for them. Like, you know how, like, Genevieve, one of the things, like, Genevieve is a popular Nigerian actress. One of the things that she said is that, like, when people have, like, nagged her about marriage and, like, why is she not getting married? She's just, like, she doesn't believe in marriage. Because marriage is for overgrown men, like that their parents no longer can handle them, and now they're trying to find somebody else.
Which is why a lot of men look for women that portray their
mother's features,
right? Because then the way your mother cared for you is how you want your wife to care for you. Because you want to leave that cocoon of just like safety into another cocoon of safety. You don't ever want to like live in the real world.
I thought that was savage, bro. She was just like, no, it's for overgrown men whose parents can no longer handle.
And all those overgrown men are probably like, they're probably like raising their fist, like, no.
But honestly, come on, man. What's one of the first things that men ask you when you start talking to them?
Can you cook?
Do you cook? Do you clean?
Do I clean?
Can you build a house?
Can you build a house?
Can you build a car?
From scratch. Can you go into the wild and kill an animal and bring it home for dinner?
Right? Like, it's ridiculous.
Can I cook? I'll cook after you go catch the tiger.
Right.
Go catch the tiger, bring that shit home, and I'm going to cook it in our cave since we're living in there.
You guys eat tiger. What
Say, people can be just ridiculous. The double standards is ridiculous.
I'm so over it. I'm honestly so over it at this point. Like, at this point, I just have to come up with, like, smart remarks back at people who say stuff like that. Like, especially with the submission people. The super, she's got to submit. I'm like, I will literally make you look like the dumbest person on earth. If you don't want to be embarrassed by a woman, please don't speak to me because I don't care about your friends. Mm-hmm. You will look really dumb if you come out here talking some shit without proof to back it up. But anyway, so here's another fact. About every 13 seconds, there's one divorcee in America. 13 seconds, fam. Mm-hmm. That equals 277 divorces per hour. Okay, y'all. That equals 277 divorces per hour, 6,646 divorces per day, 46,523 divorces per week, and 2,419,196 divorces per year. Y'all, 2 million divorces per year, 2.5. So that means there are 9 divorcees in the time it takes for a couple to recite their wedding vows in 2 minutes. More than 554 divorcees or divorcees occur during your typical romantic comedy movie, which is 2 hours. 1,384 divorces happen during the average wedding reception of 5 hours. There are 19,353,568 divorces over the course of an average first marriage that ends in divorces 8 years. And over a 40-year period, 67% of first marriages terminate. Y'all.
Honestly, who was the killjoy that wrote this statistic?
The person was like,
let me tell you what happens when you're saying your vows and when you're dancing and eating your
they
cake.
Break it down.
First of all,
this quote is about to be the intro quote for the podcast. I need y'all to break it down. Like, what? They were like, I need this in a rap music.
But it's just kind of like, again, I understand the point you're driving home, but who was the killjoy that wrote this comment?
Who was the person who calculated it? They took that 200.
They really had time.
I think that what they did was they broke down the 2,419,196 divorces per year, and then they broke it down per minute, second, hour. Like they were like
weddings.
1,700 something 6,000 minutes. What is this?
I like weddings. Okay, so
is it? What is the song again?
It's Rent.
1,625 something minutes.
Copyright.
Oh shit! They can copyright my voice. It's not that good. Oh no!
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to have somebody come be like, "You sang my song during."
Shoot, they would have to listen to our episode first, and if you do, please leave a review. Thanks. But yeah, so basically, that was like an intense, 67% of marriages end in divorce, y'all, within for first time marriages, and it's pretty insane that people are still getting married. Kudos to those who still get married, and I'm definitely down for getting married once I find the right person. But I just don't believe there's a reason to be rushing people under 30 into marriage when you see the statistic lead to divorce.
I just feel like, okay, first of all, these are Sandra's notes. I want to put that out there. Just because there's a lot of pressure to be married before you're 30 doesn't mean that what we need to share with people is just like, oh, if you get married under 30, you're going to get divorced. I feel like that's not the message that I personally want to send.
It's not the message. It's not the message. But just so you know, as a person who's under 30 who feels pressured, knowing these statistics might make you feel better, knowing that there is no rush to get into marriage. There's absolutely, if you don't find the right person, don't let your family rush you. Don't let society rush you. Don't even let the statistics rush you and feel like you have to get married at 28 and 30.
That's another thing to be anxious about. Am I going to get a divorce? Am I going to get a whatever? But I just feel like people should just do whatever makes them happy in that moment. So if that means getting married before you're 30, do that.
But that's difficult when there's pressure to get married before 30. A lot of people marry because family pressure. They marry who their family suggests. They marry because their family has assigned them a husband.
If they're people pleasers and they're not going to be happy unless they.
But that's a lot of women. A lot of women are grown.
If you know that you don't want to get married until after you're way past 30 and maybe into your 40s, then do that. I feel like
those people are going to do that because they feel like they're stronger. Their mindset is stronger. Like if you already decided I don't want to get married till after I'm 30, or just I don't want to get married till I'm ready. People like that already have a stronger mindset, and they're not going to let society sway them. The people who let society sway them are the ones who are being influenced by their families, who are being suggested to multiple husbands to the point that it's always in your face, who have religions that, push them in the direction of a husband at a certain age. Those people are being influenced in so many directions that you might feel like you have to get married under 30. And the message today is you're not the only one, first of all. Divorces happen a lot under 30, so you shouldn't be feeling rushed to get married under 30. And if you do want to get married under 30, do it because you want to, not because other people are pushing you to. Now, some people might not have no choice. Some people might have been betrothed to a husband at 15. Like, you might not even have a choice. Your childhood best friend is probably supposed to be your husband, and your family says that's what's happening, that's that. And that's the end. So, unfortunately, there's not much we can do in that situation. We can only say that you can stand up for yourself, maybe step out of the society norms and fight your family and disown them. I don't know. It's up to you, but we really can't tell you what to do in that situation. But for me, being somebody who's being influenced by my family, and not so much, and not as bad as other people. Thankfully, it didn't start happening till like 23. Other people were getting it much younger. And around 23, I think is when my friend went to my first marriage. And that was when like it started to like become, oh, you're next, you soon. What about you? And they started asking, oh, boyfriend. And I think I just got my degree at that point. So it was like boyfriend. And it's like, Jesus, let me live. Mind you, Nigerians always say boyfriend. What if I'm gay?
Well, that's not acceptable in our culture, so they don't even leave that as an option.
That's not even an option. They'd be like, okay.
And we don't even have the word boyfriend or girlfriend in our language, so they always jump to wife or husband.
Yep, immediately. Whoever you... That's why... Also, that's in case you're Nigerian or African in general, we totally understand why you don't bring your significant other home.
It's not right, because it's not right. They're just going to torture you.
They're going to torture you. And if you ever break up, you will never live it down. Yeah. Even your future wife will be hearing about that ex. So, don't bring them home until you're ready. Because if that person decides, oh, this is not working out, you've dug a 6 feet grave for yourself, y'all. You're not leaving. You're dead. That's it. Forever. They're going to keep shoveling your... until... It's never going to end. So just avoid that. Just personal advice. And you probably already know this. We don't have to tell you anyway. But here. So apparently people are waiting. Now, I also can relate to this. It says people are waiting to marry because they can't afford it. Simple facts. Life has become more expensive. It's not like the 1970s where the men went up to war and the women stayed home and cooked and milk was 10 cents. It's not. It's just inflation of everything. The housing market. Industries, work. And it's crazy because inflation went up, but wages went down. So people can't afford to get married because there's wage stagnation. It's not going up, but everything else is costing more. People now need more work experience to make some wages. How is that fair? And there'd be like 10 years experience, but you're still going to make $17 an hour though, like they did in 1970. So, and that's delaying a lot of people from tying the knot. And secondly, there are now way too many alternatives to getting married early because back then a lot of things were frowned upon. Premarital sex, premarital children, and like a lot of things were frowned upon. And so young adults don't really need to be married now to have sex lives. They're free to live their lives with their partners out of wedlock. So the pressure to get married is not the same as it was in 1970s. And also, I don't know if you want to read this one. What?
Go to your questions.
Oh, we have one more statistics. Let's just touch on it. Our producer is like trying to ruin us right now. Just let us have fun. Go.
Okay, so let me go.
Hurry up.
Social researcher Nicholas Wolfinger has discovered a startling new reality. His recent analysis of data from 2006 to 2010 in the National Survey of Family Growth reveals that getting married after your mid-30s is actually riskier than getting married in your late 20s. And that the best age to get married appears to be between 28 and 32.
Oof.
Before that age range, divorce rates are still decreasing. After that window, they begin to climb again.
So we just can't win.
So, I guess it just means what we've been trying to say. Get married whenever you feel ready. Because at the end of the day, there's no right age to get married.
Right.
It appears to be between 28 and 32, but there's also no guarantee that if you wait till you're 28 or you wait till you're 32, that it's a guarantee it's going to work out.
It's all on you and your partner.
There's no guarantee.
If you're just marrying the wrong person, it's not going to last regardless of what you do. Sorry.
Okay.
But
let's hit these questions.
All right. Okay. I have a question for Doyen. So in case you guys didn't know, Doyen is married and has a child. Somebody put a ring on it. Single ladies, no more. So this question is for her. So Doyen, do you have any regrets about marriage before 30? And if yes, what could you have done differently?
Are you trying to fast track my way to divorce?
No!
Do you think I will say yes to regrets?
And not regrets like you hate the fact that you're married, but regrets like I could have done some things prior to marriage. maybe if you had a checklist, maybe you could have checked some things off before married.
No, I definitely don't think if we're calling those kinds of things regrets, no, because I don't think that there's a right time to get married. I honestly don't. Like, you're never going to have all your ducks in a row. Mm-hmm. I think that I worried a lot about that in the beginning because it's like, oh, nobody else is getting married. Oh, I don't have this and I don't have that in my life.
She was our first friend to get married.
And I mean, I think I still worry about it, but honestly, like, where I am in life and where you are in life and where Galapa is in life is never going to be all aligned. So I can't always be like, oh, well, Sandra's not married. And like, or like, why am I getting married?
Sure, if you're waiting for us, you're not going to get married.
This car and she has this many things, you know, like, so I feel like there's no checklist. So in that regards, no, I don't.
Definitely don't use your friends as a checklist, y'all. Get married. If you're the first or the last.
Don't use anything as a checklist. Yeah. If somebody you're dating wants to marry you and you want to marry them, get married. And if you guys are just dating but you don't have any vision for marriage, then keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. Right. As long as you can sleep at night and it feels right by you. Right. So in that context, I don't have any regrets. Like, there are certain things that I would do differently about the wedding process and so on and so forth. Right. But, you know.
So you felt like if you had a little more time to plan, you could have done it differently for the marriage.
I mean, I feel like there was a lot of pressure from like family, given the current situation. Like, I was pregnant and they were like, oh, let's just, like, I wanted to go and just do something small to make them happy. What would have
happened if you had said, I'm not doing it your way, I'm going to do it my way?
Well, you know what the funny thing is? Years later, my mom's like, oh, you should have just fought back. Bro! If you think that if I thought that was an option, I wouldn't have already done that? And I'm pretty sure I feel like I was very clear. I wasn't even the type that was defiant. Like you said, like, I'm a people pleaser. So I was even like, okay, no problem. Let's come there, do something in your living room, but I want to have my thing here because, like, my friends are here. And they're like, okay. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, it's no longer in the living room. It's outside now. Oh, it's no longer outside. It's in this mansion now. I'm like, wait, what? By the time that was
because your wedding is not your wedding. Your wedding is your family's wedding.
By the time that was all done, I'm like, okay, now I want to do my thing here. And everybody's like crickets in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so like, we already did what we wanted to do, so good luck with that.
So I think I don't really regret things. Like, there's just things that I would choose to do differently. I guess I will fight back next time something happens and like, I disagree. Fighting.
I mean, I didn't make it to Dorian's wedding in Nigeria.
You told me to.
I'm still waiting for the wedding in America because I was supposed to be a bridesmaid and I didn't make it to Nigeria due to educational reasons, but like, if you can, because I thought you were going to have the wedding right after you came back.
Yeah, it was supposed to, but like I said, there was crickets in the room when I said, I'm ready. And it was like, oh, but we just spent that money. I'm like, but I asked you not to, bro.
Right. Like, so basically they did what they wanted for their wedding. Like, their idea of a wedding.
Oh, they were very satisfied.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, well, that's done. Okay. Good luck.
That was so great. And I'm like...
That's parents.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. Like, it was still like a vibe and everything, but it's just like,
the marriage is not for you to be a parent.
I didn't really like grow up as an adult in Nigeria, so a lot of the people that I would have wanted to be at my wedding could not be there because of how you know. And I thought it was like, okay, it's okay if they're not there because this is just gonna be a small thing, but it ended up being the.
And I felt more okay with not being there because I thought you were gonna have another one here, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just plan for that one. I'm gonna be prepared.
Plan, but there was crickets in the room. And like now, when I tell people like, okay, 10 years, I want to do something because I never wore a gown. And
not even 10 years. You really only need like.
He actually gets irritated.
He doesn't want to do it.
Money. That's
a vow renewal. What do you mean? Like, what is he complaining about?
First, he was like, "What?" I guess like when we first said it, like he was like, "Yes. Anything that's not going to make me spend money at the moment." Now that it's like 3 or 4 years later, and I'm saying it, he's like, "That sounds like money."
Even right now, why would you really focus and save $10,000? You can literally save $10,000 and throw a really nice like vow renewal for 5 years.
That sounds like to him. That's like taking $10,000 and setting it on fire. He doesn't understand that. He's like, why would you just throw it in a trash can?
Men don't want women to have nice things. That's what it sounds like to me. Buy her a Birkin bag, okay?
I don't even want a Birkin bag, okay? Just give me the $10,000 in cash. Even if you are worried about the budgeting, let me do the budgeting, bro.
Right. Instead of complaining about it. Man, we will always be mad. But anyway, so the last question is, do you think if people waited, for both of us, do you think if people waited till after 30 to get married, divorces rate would decrease? Based on what we've said, basically. I mean, obviously, probably not, in my opinion.
You already know how I feel. I feel like love is love, and like age doesn't have anything to do with it, and it's just mostly, it's a choice that you choose to make every day. So.
Right. And that's, oh, jeez, I thought that was my phone. But yeah, that's another thing that's important, guys. Like, you fall in love with who you want to fall in love with. And you really shouldn't let other people like sway you, because if they do, to be honest, you end up in a very
But sometimes
marriage.
people have good points though. I wouldn't.
No, of course. If you hear good advice, you know it's good advice.
Heed the advice and make your own decision.
Right.
Ultimately.
And if you really feel deep within your gut, like the person is not the right person, don't rush into it because your family wants you to, or people want you to.
Because you are 30,
right.
or because you are 28.
Please don't do it, especially because of age. Do not rush into it because of age. Because not only is the divorce rate higher, you also shouldn't do it simply because you don't want to do it. It's because you don't want to do it. Like, that should be the biggest important reason.
It's going to be harder for you to make that choice, because the truth about love and marriage is that, like, when you first are together, everything is fun, it's great, you're going on dates, it's nice. When you're in a marriage and you literally see this person every day, there's times where you hate each other.
I don't know how I'm going to do it.
There's times where you love each other. And, like, if you only married them because of your age at the moment, or because they had something you wanted at the moment, or whatever it might have been.
That's why looks fade. Sometimes money fades.
Yeah.
Sometimes personalities even change.
Exactly. Those things change. So it's harder for you to make that choice to continue being with them.
Yeah.
If you
and that's why divorces are so high. People marry for looks, for money, for shallow reasons. And then when those things fade, now you want to leave.
A lot of people also don't know the truth about marriage,
they don't know what
about it being like a choice. I think
it's a compromise and a choice every day. If you can't forgive the person you're dating right now and get over it quickly, don't get married. Marriage is literally about forgiveness, compromise, and choosing that person every day. Like, and I'm not even married. This is just from advice I've heard.
Like, it's fairy tales and stuff, like happily ever
because
after.
They see it on social media. But you see all your favorite celebrities getting divorced. I mean, look at the entanglement with Will and Jada.
I mean, honestly, that to me, that just shows you the reality of what happens.
And the fact that people were worshiping their weddings and their marriages and their love is so ridiculous. Like, who made them the look of black love?
Jay and Beyonce.
They're not, and Jay-Z definitely cheated on Beyonce. Like, they're not the definition of black love. Stop following the celebrities thinking that they're going to show you the right way to where you need to go. Find your own shit. Because guess what? When you get divorced, they're not coming to your wedding and they're not coming to your divorce. They don't even know who you are, and they never will. So get over it. I'm being honest. I'm just saying, like, reality is, you are not gonna even get to know. Like, for me, I wanted to really meet Michael Jackson. This guy died before I even got to meet him. I wanted to meet Kobe. He also died before I met him. There are other celebrities now that I feel like I just need to go to their damn concerts because they're all dying one by one.
It's not like you're meeting them at these concerts. Are you getting backstage passes?
Nah, but I would see them on stage though. I can't afford no backstage pass.
I wanted to meet him and meet that before. It's
okay,
like,
I wanted to meet him in the audience on the stage.
Okay. Whenever a Nigerian woman tells you they're going to meet a celebrity, just take it as they're going to the concert. Talk about, I'm going to meet him. He's going to meet you from the back of the room. Were you going to get the ones at the front?
I met J. Cole
were you going to get
at the concert on stage in the back. But I saw him though. I met him in the room.
Does he know your name? Can he recognize you? Can he tell you which one of the?
It doesn't matter. I had a dream and we talked in the dream, so that's all the introduction I need.
Fine.
But all right,
whatever makes you sleep at night.
Let's talk about the resources, guys. So really, how to support Black Lives Matter is our biggest thing right now. Even though media isn't showing it, understand it's still happening. Statues are still being pushed off and thrown in the water in the lakes. It's happening, guys. They're only focused on the election because, they just want to focus on that. It's coming soon. Protests are still happening because we haven't received the solution. Breonna Taylor's killers are still alive and well. Okay, only one of them got repercussions and not even something significant. So, like, we really need to keep this up. And every time you see a petition, stop complaining about the damn petitions. Just sign it. And if you're not going to sign it, share it so somebody who can sign it. Like, it's not, I hate seeing that shit. People talking about, I see, like, on Twitter, people are like, I keep seeing petitions. But shut the hell up. If you're not going to sign the petitions, send it to somebody who can. If you're not going to do either of them, just keep your opinions to yourself. Okay. Because there are people who are making moves.
The resources. It's turning into the rants now.
I'm angry about it. This is another topic. Before I get angry and start a whole nother episode. But, so the next one is therapy, your primary care physician, employee assistance programs at BetterHelp on IG and at Helping Minds on IG. Helping Minds online on IG. BetterHelp is free for 1 month and you get contact within 24 hours. You can do it on your phone, wherever you're at. You don't have to go to any place. So the stats that I really listed were divorce statistics, a link for that. American rate of divorce, a link for that. Married by 30. Are you not? A link for that. And Psychology Today, which is where we had our last quote or whatever facts. So take a look. If you're interested in learning about these things, we definitely have everything we talked about always available for you in the resources. Some people just want to hear more about it. Some people you can be really interested in a topic and you're like, dang, I want to know more. Don't worry, just open the box. Or I don't even think you have to open the box. Sometimes it's already available for you on a podcast listening app. You can just click on the link. It's all linkable. So thanks, guys. And don't forget to, give us a review, follow us on IG, and listen to this video. Will be live on YouTube by this weekend or, in a week, hopefully. So cross fingers. Bye.
Give us a thumbs up and
for
subscribe.
Coming. Yeah, thanks for coming.